There are stories in Hollywood that feel almost too perfect to question. For years, Mark Consuelos and Kelly Ripa were one of them. The chemistry, the laughter, the long marriage, the way they looked at each other on screen and off, it all painted the picture of a couple who had mastered the impossible, staying deeply connected in an industry where relationships often crumble under pressure. But, as Mark has quietly revealed in rare, vulnerable moments, the life people saw was only part of the truth. Behind the bright lights, the witty banter, and the easy smiles lay something more fragile, something human, something that even the closest couples sometimes fear admitting to themselves. Mark explained that while the world saw a seemingly perfect union, he and Kelly were slowly, quietly slipping out of sync. Not because of a single argument or dramatic event, but because of what he described as a gradual emotional drift. It didn't happen suddenly, and that, he said, was the heartbreaking part. Instead, it was a slow fade. Small misunderstandings, moments brushed aside, schedules that grew too busy, a household full of love, but increasingly full of missed signals. Mark admitted that there were days when he felt like the version of himself he presented to the world was polished, confident, and composed, but privately he was tired, stretched thin, and unsure how to slow down long enough to reconnect. He told friends that he felt like he was living two different lives, and somehow both of them felt incomplete. One life belonged to the man the world admired, the charismatic actor, the devoted co-host, the husband always ready with a smile. The other life was quieter, lonelier, defined by emotional exhaustion he didn't quite know how to name. He said there were nights when he would come home physically present, but mentally far away. He would listen without really hearing, smile without feeling fully engaged, and slowly, without meaning to, that emotional distance became part of their daily rhythm. That, he confessed, was one of the most dangerous parts. You start accepting the distance as normal. One of the most emotional parts of Mark's revelation wasn't about arguments, they had few of those. It was about the conversations that never happened. Mark said there were so many times he sensed something was wrong. Kelly would be quiet, her smile a little dimmer, her morning energy replaced with thoughtful stillness. And instead of asking what she needed or admitting what he needed, he would go back to reviewing scripts, answering emails, or preparing for the next project. I thought I was avoiding conflict, he admitted, but what I was really avoiding was intimacy. The walls weren't built out of anger. They were made of unspoken words, moments swallowed, feelings deferred. By the time they finally confronted their distance, both were exhausted, unsure of how to bridge the growing gap. Mark described one night that became a turning point. There was no shouting, no dramatic scene, just silence, quiet, heavy, suffocating silence between two people who had once been inseparable. They sat across from each other at the dinner table, both knowing something was wrong but unsure how to begin. And then Kelly asked a question, a simple one that should have been easy to answer. But Mark couldn't, not with a joke, not with charm, not with a deflection. He sat there, unable to speak, because for the first time he realized that the truth, his truth, was painful. He wasn't happy. And deep down, he knew she wasn't either. That moment didn't break them, but it changed them. For the first time in months, they spoke honestly about the distance, about the exhaustion, about how each felt unseen in different ways, about how hard it was to keep up the polished version of their life when the private version felt so fragile. It wasn't an ending, but it was an awakening. Mark said that after that night, the days that followed were some of the most emotionally difficult of his life, not because of public scrutiny, but because of the quiet moments at home, walking into a kitchen that felt different, passing photographs that reminded him of chapters that felt far away, noticing the small routines that had once brought comfort, but now brought heaviness. He admitted that he found himself replaying moments over and over, moments where he could have listened more, stayed longer, asked deeper questions, or simply held her hand. You don't realize how precious ordinary moments are until you feel them slipping away. He said that if he could offer insight to anyone watching, it would be this: don't wait until your silence becomes louder than your love. If you've stayed with this story until now, thank you for joining this emotional journey, a reminder that even the most admired couples face struggles the world never sees. Mark Consuelos' story isn't just about Hollywood. It's about the human heart, the weight of expectations, and the courage it takes to admit when something is breaking before it breaks you. If you want more deep, emotional, long-form celebrity stories that go far beneath the headlines, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next video. We have more heartfelt, powerful stories coming very soon.